Hey, Gloria, how you doing today?
Hi, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So, what brings you in today?
So, I recently have decided that I would like to change career paths. And this is coming after I have taken a year of graduate school. And I just don't think that the career path that I've chosen is right for me. And so I'm thinking that um, at this point in my life that I want to transition to a position in the medical field. Particularly, I'm looking at maybe a career as a physician assistant. So I'm weighing two options: whether or not I should pursue um, graduate school to be a physician assistant, or if I should try to go to medical school. So I'm just trying to weigh those options.
Okay, okay. So, I just want to go over what you said just to make sure that we're on the same page. So, at the moment, you want to pursue a change in your career path. You currently have a year in graduate school, and the current career industry that you're in, you feel like isn't the right fit for you. Right now, you're thinking about applying to medical school, though you also may think about going into a medical field trade of a physicianal assistant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So, quick question: this year of graduate school, was that in the medical field?
No, it was not. It was actually in law. So
Okay.
very different.
So that was your previous industry.
Previous industry, yes.
Okay. And so, what didn't you like about that industry? Just so I can know.
What I did not like is that I felt as though it's very the politics of some of the decisions that you were forced to make. And I know you're forced to make tough decisions as a physician as well. I don't know if that was something I think I would always be comfortable with doing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, after talking to other people in the field, a lot of people did not like their jobs. Um, and work life balance is something that I'm looking at as well as I am being realistic about what I want my life to look like moving forward. So that is something I had to consider when thinking about, my career trajectory in law versus doing something else.
Okay. And so it seems like you're pretty set that you don't want to do law anymore, correct?
Correct.
So you came in saying that you want to change your career path. So it already seems like you're on a trajectory to do that. So can I ask you, what is your current expectation, or what do you want to do within a short-term goal? Let's say 2 weeks to facilitate your career path change.
Oh, okay. So I have been looking at programs in my area that are undergraduate, actually, courses to give me just more general experience in science and just to boost my science GPA from my undergraduate career. So I've been looking at those types of programs. I actually just completed an application to a local program, so I'm waiting to hear back. So in the next few weeks, I should hear back from that program about how to move forward, and yeah, and go from there.
Okay. So it seems like you are currently doing work to pursue your interest in the medical field. But let's just go back to that intended goal. What is your intended goal for, say, the next 2 weeks that you want to do to facilitate your career change or your path to your career change? Is it anything that can put you on that right path or that right goal to your medical school? Can help you facilitate that, or anything that you can do for that?
Yeah, so I think what's important in this process is just not having one way to get it done. And I think that's something that I'm a little stuck on in my process is trying to figure out like a plan B to my plan B. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So as I mentioned before, like I'm weighing the option of do I want to go to a physician assistant program and do work towards that, or do I want to just, you know, really buckle down and try to go for the big degree, the big medical.
Okay. So it sounds like your actual goal is to figure out your decision on going to your pursuing your undergraduate courses to boost your GPA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming a post-bac, correct?
Right.
So pursuing your post-bac or going directly and trying to pursue a career as a physical physician, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your intended goal right now is to figure out which of these two choices is the correct path for you.
Well, the post-bac would have to be done anyway, regardless of the career path.
Okay.
So the post-bac is just, that's like a bare minimal requirement.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, thinking of other ways to use those certifications in post-bac in case, I don't want to do that either once I finish that program. So finding different ways to end up in that industry, whether I am a physician assistant or a physician, and figuring out what are different ways after the post-bac. If I have to take time off, if I have to work in the industry, what are ways that I can do to, like, kind of, I don't know, how to soften the blow of the debt that comes with all that schooling, but also be able to, like, live life a little bit, because I'm in my early 20s, so that's something that
Okay.
is important.
So now that I'm digging deeper, it seems like you've already been set on your intended career path, or at least the fact that you don't want to go to law school.
Mm-hmm.
The current path or trajectory of your career is leading you into the medical field right now.
Correct.
You say that your post-bac is a requirement, so and that you've already applied to that.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of your BATNR or your best alternative to your options, or your current available options, you're looking at a physical physician, but you want to figure out other job positions that you can utilize your post-bac to obtain that medical field type of career path.
Exactly.
Correct?
Exactly.
All right. So what would you think would be a good goal to set up for the next 2 weeks to facilitate research around what would be some available job options for you utilizing your post-bac if you don't want to go to medical school as you stated before?
Okay. I think something that would be good to look at would be to look at positions in administrative positions in the healthcare field, because those also, like, there's so many things that could be done within that. Looking at ways to use maybe social policy, thinking of careers in public health, maybe. But just looking at, I think a good goal to, like, tie all that together would be to look up specific jobs within, like, those, like, ancillary, like, fields within healthcare that maybe could interest me, that I think would get me to my desired earning potential and give me the lifestyle that I want to achieve.
Okay. So it seems like you've made a goal for yourself then. As of right now, it seems like you've got about 3 categories, maybe more in your head, but the 3 that you've discussed so far is the administrative position, social policy, and public health, correct? And within those positions, you want to search for specific job titles around that ancillary field, correct? So can we make a goal for within the next 2 weeks? We figure out specific titles within these ancillary fields that you can both research and look for that will allow use of your post-bac, but not necessarily requirement of medical school.
Gotcha.
Does that sound like a great goal to you?
Sounds like a great goal.
All right, and now that we set that goal, let's just go ahead and figure out what are the current obstacles that are preventing you from doing this goal or getting this facilitation of your career path going?
I think time constraints right now, as I am working, so having time to sit down and do these things. I think in terms of, I felt like I wanted to reach out to people for help, having business hours to do that, so that all ties into, like, the time. But I think time would be my only constraint as of right now.
All right. And are there any ways or plans that you are able to deal with time management in your day-to-day life that may help you now?
Absolutely. I think making this research fun by making it a part of my scroll on social media, making it a quick scroll, on Glassdoor or whatever to look at, different career titles. So just making it a part of my normal scroll and go when I'm on the go at work. So just making a commitment to that.
Okay. So let's just figure this. So let's just say that we set up a time, about 1 hour a day. You while you're going through your day-to-day tasks, you scroll through your phone, looking on Glassdoor, or maybe on LinkedIn. That's another option to facilitate your job search, looking at specific titles within these ancillary positions. And as long as you do that within the 1 hour a day for the next 2 weeks, you've facilitated about 14 hours of research time to utilize. Does that seem like a good amount of time to use, or does it seem like you may need more within that 2 weeks?
No, I think 14 hours is more than enough.
Okay, so 14 hours is a good set of time. So outside of that obstacle of time constraints, is there any other obstacles that you may perceive in doing this?
I don't believe so.
Okay, and so let's just say, so our goal was about 2 weeks. We're going to put in about 14 hours within those 2 weeks of job search.
Okay.
And the way that we utilize those 14 hours is about 1 hour of each, a 1 hour a day. Within our daily tasks of scrolling through our phone, we'll look on Glassdoor, LinkedIn, or any other job boards and sites that you want to utilize. And from there, just look up any job-specific titles within those ancillary positions, and see where you go from there. If you want to apply to some, apply to some. If not, we can write a list down of what the job prospects you want to look for and move on for our next meeting. But one more thing that I just want to go over real quick is your medical school. You said that you were thinking about medical school and jobs within that related field. Now, just going back to your original goal of facilitating your job or your industry switch, how does that medical school facilitate that industry switch?
Because it's a different way to interact with patients. So instead of being on the side where you deal with the repercussions of what happened to someone medically, you are actually assisting that patient in patient care. So it involves a direct scientific background, whereas law didn't involve that at all, really. You didn't really need math or science or anything. So it's a complete change in skills, different skill set, different part of the brain that you're using to do your job on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. And so just when thinking about that switch to the medical industry, is getting that degree a requirement, or is it something that you want because you're passionate for?
So it is something that I've been passionate about since it's originally what I went to college for. Mm-hmm. So it is something I've always been passionate about. And I think that right now is a good time to do it. I think that as far as working in other industries that are not directly related to healthcare or not directly being a physician or a PA, I think within those positions, the medical degree is not really required, but I think certain certifications are useful to have, which don't take as much time. They're not as expensive as an entire degree, but at the same time, I think a degree is it's more for myself. You know what I'm saying? So
okay,
it would be more of a personal type of goal.
So knowing that is a personal type of goal and facilitating that, and that would be a part of your industry goal and your BATNA, your best alternative to your solution right now. Let's go ahead and add that to your goal within planning for your industry change. Okay. So within this 2 weeks, let's just go ahead and incorporate an extra 30 minutes into this time period, so an additional 7 hours. So for an hour a day, you're going to be doing job searching. And then for 30 minutes, you're going to be researching medical schools, figuring out what medical schools are the best fit for you and the locales that you want to go into. Okay? And then that will also help you facilitate which auxiliary industries are best meant for you and where you can apply to. Mm-hmm. Does that sound like a reasonable goal to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I just want to summarize everything that we said just so I can make sure that we're on the same page and that this goal is understandable between the two of us. Right?
Okay.
So from the offset, you wanted to go into an industry change. You had about 1 year of graduate school under your belt in the law school industry. You felt like it wasn't the right fit for you because of the political nuances in there, and because you didn't feel comfortable doing those type of things within the job. Though you know that there are some political things that you may have to do within the medical industry that may not be agreeable to you, it's all about helping people who are in need. And so, because you're passionate about that, you feel like the medical industry would be a better fit than the law industry to you. And because of that, you want to facilitate this industry change in two different ways. One, by applying to medical school, but two, by finding ancillary jobs within the industry that you don't necessarily need med school for. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And then moving on from there, we set about a planned goal that for about an hour a day, you're going to be doing job searches within those ancillary industries, finding specific titles that fit your requirements of no medical school necessities. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then again, for another 30 minutes, you're going to set aside a time to look at medical schools. Because you said that medical school is going to be a little bit for you, you want to make sure that you find the best fit for you. And so doing that research on your med schools will help facilitate both finding relevant jobs for you and helping you facilitate that industry switch. Within all of this, that'll be 21 hours within the 2 weeks that you will set aside to help facilitate your industry switch. Does that seem something that is reasonable to you?
That's absolutely reasonable.
All right. Well, then, if that isn't a reasonable goal to you, then I would say let's go ahead with our plan and finish off that hour of your day-to-day task, hour and 30 minutes of your day-to-day task now to help you facilitate your goals. And then we'll meet along next week. Let's just go ahead and get that list of job titles that you looked at and maybe even your medical school and see which ones are best fit for you. Okay?
Sounds good.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Vernon.
I hope you have enough.
Thanks, you too.